Welcome to the AI Brief from the YPO Technology Network. I'm Stephen Forte. Something connects three of this week's biggest moves. A chipmaker bought a software company. The world's largest software company quietly built its own AI models. And yesterday we learned the biggest model maker built its own chip. And by the end of this, you'll see why three deals that look unrelated are actually the same deal, repeated three times. Yesterday, I argued that the market sell-off was a repricing, not a bubble, because inference, the cost of actually running an AI model, keeps getting cheaper as the software gets more efficient. The proof was Jalapeno, OpenAI's own custom chip, a model maker breaking free of Nvidia's hardware. Today, the story gets bigger. If Jalapeno was one company breaking one lock, this week the entire industry started breaking every lock at once. Here is the through line for the next 8 minutes. Everybody is building their own stack. Let me start with the lead. On Wednesday, Qualcomm, the mobile chip giant whose silicon sits inside most of the world's Android phones, confirmed a roughly $3.9 billion all-stock acquisition of a startup called Modular. Modular makes software that lets AI models run efficiently across different chips without rewriting the code for each one. It was founded by Chris Lattner, the engineer who built the compiler technology, the translation layer, underneath both Apple's and Google's software. And Lattner's stated mission was blunt: break Nvidia's software lock-in. Here is why that matters to you. For 15 years, Nvidia's real moat was never just the chips. It was CUDA, Nvidia's proprietary software layer that made every AI developer fluent only in Nvidia. You could build a faster chip, but nobody could use it because the world's code only spoke CUDA. That is what kept the rest of the industry renting. Modular is the universal translator. Buy the translator and suddenly every other chip becomes viable. Qualcomm CEO Cristiano Amon called it a pivotal moment, and this is its push into the data center, the warehouse-scale computing that powers AI, not just phones. It was Qualcomm's second AI chip move in weeks. Jalapeno attacked the hardware lock. This attacks the software lock. Same war, second front, now to the software giant. At its Build Developer Conference in early June, Microsoft, the company that has poured tens of billions of dollars into OpenAI and resold its models as Copilot, launched a family of 7 AI models it built entirely in-house. They're called MAI, Microsoft AI. There's a reasoning model, MAI Thinking 1, built to work through problems step by step. There's a coding model, MAI Code 1 Flash, now a default option inside GitHub Copilot, Microsoft's AI programming assistant, used by millions of developers, plus image, voice, and transcription models. MAI Thinking 1 reportedly draws, even with Claude Sonnet 4.6, a top model from Anthropic, OpenAI's main rival, on some benchmarks. And it was trained without OpenAI's data. Sit with that for a second. Microsoft is the single largest financial backer of OpenAI, and Microsoft is now quietly building the capability to not need OpenAI. Here is my read. This is the partner hedging against the partner. If your most important strategic supplier is also building your replacement, that is the entire game in one sentence. And it is exactly the calculation every one of you should be running on your own critical vendors, the ones where a price change or an outage would stop your business cold. I'll give Microsoft honest credit. Drawing even with a frontier model on your first in-house attempt is genuinely hard, and they did it fast. The caveat I'll voice plainly: pricing isn't public yet. So the cost efficiency story is a promise, not a line item. Believe the capability, wait on the math. Now stack the three together because this is the spine. Qualcomm, a chip maker, bought the software layer. Microsoft, a software giant, built the models. OpenAI, a model maker, built the chip. Everyone is reaching down or up into someone else's layer. The strategic logic is identical in all three. Whoever controls the most layers of the stack controls the margin and controls their own destiny. The rental era is ending. The ownership era is starting. But I owe you the other side of this. And it comes from a serious person. Yann LeCun, Meta's chief AI scientist, one of the three researchers who basically invented modern AI, made the bear case plainly this week. His words: the prices of AI services are increasing while the costs of operating them are decreasing, but not nearly quickly enough. These companies are incurring losses, and the funding comes from investors. This cannot persist indefinitely. Take that seriously. The Steelman version goes, all this vertical integration, all this building your own everything is just expensive flailing. The underlying economics don't pencil yet, the losses are real, and pouring billions into custom chips and in-house models is what an industry does when it's spending its way out of a problem it can't yet solve. Here is my answer. The vertical integration isn't ignoring LeCun's problem. It is the response to LeCun's problem. You don't claw your way into someone else's layer of the stack for fun. You do it to take cost out of a model that doesn't yet work. The land grab and the losses are the same story. They are spending to fix the unit economics, not pretending the economics are fine. And the nuance that LeCun's case underweights, Bloomberg Intelligence pegs demand for computing power at 5 to 10 times available supply. When demand outruns supply that badly, cheaper compute doesn't sink the hyperscalers, the handful of giants who rent out computing at planetary scale. It widens their margins. LeCun is right that it can't persist forever. He may be wrong that anyone's actually trying to make it, which brings me to where the leverage goes next. Any day now, and I want to be precise, this is imminent, not shipped. Google is expected to broadly release Gemini 3.5 Pro, its newest frontier model. As I record this, it's in a rolling release window through the end of June and live only in limited enterprise preview. So treat everything I'm about to say as expected, not confirmed. The spec that matters is the context window, 2 million tokens. Let me gloss both. A token is a chunk of text, roughly 3/4 of a word. The context window is the model's working memory, how much it can hold in its head at once when you ask it something. Today's typical models hold the equivalent of a long report. 2 million tokens is a different category entirely. It's the largest of any production frontier model. Here is what that means for you, and this is the part to hold on to. Today, if you want AI to reason over your entire business, you can't just hand it everything. You break the documents into pieces, feed them in chunks, and stitch the answers back together, a technique called retrieval or RAG, and the seams show. The model loses the thread across the breaks. A 2 million token window means the seams disappear. You drop in an entire 2,000 file code base, or every contract your company signed this year alongside the playbook that governs them, or 6 months of customer support tickets sitting next to the product spec, or a full data room for an acquisition. One prompt, the model reasons across all of it at once. Picture a $400 million industrial distributor evaluating a target company. Today, the diligence team chops the data room into fragments and hopes nothing falls between the cracks. With a 2 million token window, the whole data room becomes a single question. The mental model is this. You stop asking AI about a summary of your business and you start asking it about your entire business at once. There's a deep think mode, deeper, slower reasoning, gated to a $250 a month tier. Expected pricing runs about $15 per $1 million tokens in, $60 out. So it's premium. Frontier reasoning still carries a premium exactly as I said yesterday. And notice the context window is just another layer of the stack. Google's leverage is that it can hold more of your world in working memory than anyone else. Own the chip, own the model, own the translator, own the memory. Same war, every front at once. So here's where I'll leave you. The rental model, rent the chip, rent the model, rent the cloud, and was comfortable for 2 years. This week it cracked in 3 directions. If I were sitting in your seat, I would not be sketching a custom chip strategy. I would be doing something simpler and more uncomfortable. I would name the single AI capability my business now depends on, identify who I rent it from, and ask one question. What happens to me the day that vendor decides to compete, raise the price, or walk? The giants are de-risking that exact dependency right now in public with billions of dollars. Dependence on a single vendor for a mission-critical capability isn't an IT problem anymore. It's a board-level risk. The people with the most to lose already figured that out. That is the YPO Tech Network AI brief for Friday, June 26th. I am Stephen Forte. If this was useful, send it to a fellow member. I will be back Monday with more. Until then, stay sharp.